Hey there guys, Purple Marine 81 here. Today I wanted to be going over something that has a tendency to get missed sometimes, and that is your food preps. If you're like me, you've always got so much stuff going on that it's hard to, stay on top of every aspect of prepping. Food is definitely one of the primary things that you need to focus on, but as you know as well as I do, that a dollar is trying to be, you know, stretched into 10 different ways, all at the same time, and it's really hard to stay on top of all of this and make sure that you're not neglecting any area of the prepping. So today I wanted to kind of go over a little bit of what I've got, and I noticed that it'd been a little while since I put a little bit more money into it, and I thought that'd be a good idea to throw a video out there, just kind of reminding everybody, hey, when was the last time you looked at your food preps? Where are you, lacking? Where have you kind of used some, if you do, like I do? Because I rotate a lot of this stuff out to maintain a constant fresh supply, and it has a tendency to kind of get used in some areas, and then I forget to replenish it. So I'm going to go over a little bit of that, what exactly I've got, some tips as far as food preps if you're just now getting into this, and so forth. So first off, I'll just kind of show you a little bit of like what it is that I keep down here. This is all kind of primarily my bug-in food supply. I do have a cache that me and a couple other buddies cache in different locations. So if I do bug out, I don't have all my eggs in one basket, as kind of hear. It's a bad thing to do. I'm a firm believer in redundancy. I think that's a huge part of prepping. Because if you put all your eggs in one basket, as I said, and something happens, then you're in a world of hurt. So that's what I try to do. So it may not look like a whole lot that's here, but as I said, I don't really intend on limiting myself to one situation. So here we go. I'll just kind of go through it real quick. I've got some propane tanks up there. This is just some, as you can see, regular pasta sauce. That's good because I've got this container right down in here. That's about, I think about 35 pounds of pasta, something like that. Right in here's quite a few cans of pork and beans. These are some large cans of chicken and turkey. Quite a few cans of Spam. I know a lot of people don't like that, but it's cheap and it stays forever. These are smaller things of chicken. A bunch of cans of tuna. Beef stew, mixed vegetables, a whole bunch of fruit. That is, I think that's salt. Yeah, that's salt. A couple things of coffee, some corn, some different soups, black-eyed peas, butter beans, carrots, a bunch of spinach. Spinach, actually, if you look, that's one thing I do want to mention for the people who are just starting to prep, is when you're buying these things, some of these are just kind of to break up the monotony of whatever it is that you'd be eating, hence like the mixed vegetables and carrots and stuff like that. But make sure you're paying attention to the nutrition labels, because you really got to make sure that whatever it is that you're buying isn't just like empty calories or something that doesn't have a whole lot of nutrition to it and is just way high in sodium. Like I said, some of the stuff that I have is kind of like that. But spinach is a real good one. That's got a lot of different nutritional value in it. These are good too. That has some flavor because they're like pre-seasoned. Mixed greens, that kind of stuff. Potatoes. That's a 50-pound bag of rice. As I said, the 35 pounds of pasta. All these buckets in here have dried beans, rice, and that kind of stuff. Here's some water. I do have some cases of just bottled water. And then these things are just, juice containers that my daughter uses, and once they're empty, I clean them out and then refill them with tap water, because tap water is chlorinated, so it stays for up to about a year, and it's something that doesn't cost anything. It's just, a smart way to reuse some of your resources. There's some collapsible bottles for water. But there you go. You can kind of see what it is that I keep down here. As I said, just try to keep in mind that you need to periodically take a look at this kind of stuff and just sort of see where you're at. Um, and surprisingly, like all of this stuff here, I mean, I don't think it's a whole lot. To some people, it might be. To some people, it might be very, very little. It just depends on how much food that you need for your family, how much money you can spend on the stuff. Um, but really, everything that you're seeing there is within a couple $100s, maybe $300, something like that. That's just kind of like a ballpark figure that is off the top of my head, and maybe a little more or less. But if you set aside some money, allocate that to this, it's not that hard really to build it up. Or if you do it little by little, every time you go to the grocery store, throw a few cans into your cart, and you'll be amazed at how quickly this stuff starts to add up. But there you go. I just want to kind of throw that out. More of just kind of a reminder to everybody who does prep is, hey, go check your food prep, see where you're at, in case it's been a little while. But as always, thanks for watching, guys. PrepMarine81 out.